Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're diving into a really fascinating idea from independent researcher Alfred. What if our body's own electricity is connected to a theoretical form of matter that's, well, completely invisible and all around us? So let me just start with a big question for you. Does your body have an invisible electrical blueprint? I mean, a template, a map that exists even before your physical features actually grow into place? Sounds pretty wild, right? Well, you might think this is straight out of science fiction, but it's actually grounded in real lab work. Researchers have literally visualized this. They watched a kind of electrical shadow of a tadpole's face form in an embryo. And here's the amazing part. This electrical pattern showed up hours before the tadpole's real eyes, mouth, and jaw grew into that exact shape. Just incredible.
So this brings us right to our first section, your body's electric blueprint. How is something like that even possible? Well, it all starts at the cellular level.
Okay, I want you to think of your body as a massive community of about 40 trillion tiny rechargeable batteries. Seriously, every single one of your cells separates charged ions, and that creates a small voltage. Now, when you add all of those up, you get this incredibly complex body-wide electrical field.
And just to give you a solid example, a nerve cell that's just resting maintains a voltage of about negative 70 millivolts. Now, that might not sound like a lot, but that electrical potential is absolutely fundamental to how our bodies work, from sending signals through our nerves to making our muscles contract.
And, this isn't some brand new idea. Way back in the 1930s, a researcher at Yale named Harold Saxton Burr found that a salamander egg's electrical field already had the shape of the adult salamander. Then, decades later, Michael Levin's work with a special dye allowed us to actually see these electrical pre-patterns, which really just confirmed what Burr had detected all those years ago. But this is where the story really takes a turn. What if these instruments are only showing us part of the picture? This leads us to all these reports from people who claim to see way more than what our current science can measure. What's so interesting here is the contrast. I mean, on one hand, our best scientific instruments can detect these voltage gradients, that electrical shadow. But for centuries, certain people, often called sensitives, have reported seeing so much more. Detailed three-dimensional forms, a sparkling web of light, and even the energy field of a limb after it's been amputated. And this huge gap is what led Barbara Brennan, a former atmospheric physicist at NASA, to say this. She said, "These studies show that the ordinary model of the body is insufficient. An additional model based on the concept of an organizing energy field needs to be developed." So in her opinion, our standard biological model is just missing a huge piece of the puzzle. So how do we possibly bridge the gap between what our instruments are picking up and what some people are reporting? Well, this is where we shift from established science into a more speculative but really fascinating theory from Alfred. And it involves a new kind of plasma.
So could this invisible organizing field that some people report seeing actually be made of plasma? You know, the fourth state of matter, the very same stuff that makes up our sun and all the stars?
Well, right away, there's a huge problem. Ordinary plasma is incredibly hot. We're talking thousands of degrees Celsius. It's also super unstable and would, instantly vaporize us. So clearly, whatever this field might be, it can't be ordinary plasma. And this is exactly where Alfred's hypothesis comes in. He theorizes about something he calls dark plasma. The whole idea is that it's made of dark matter particles, that mysterious stuff that makes up most of the mass in the universe. And crucially, these particles would have a very, very weak electric charge, which would allow this plasma to exist at body temperature without harming us at all. Okay, but how could an invisible body made of dark matter connect to our visible biological one? I mean, that's the key question, isn't it? So let's explore the proposed mechanism that could actually connect these two worlds. The proposed link is a new fifth fundamental force of nature. We all know about gravity, electromagnetism, and the two nuclear forces. But some physicists believe there might be another force out there, one that could act as a bridge, allowing our world to actually talk to the dark matter world. And this isn't just speculation. A team of physicists in Hungary has seen a strange anomaly over and over again. They fire protons at lithium, which creates an unstable beryllium atom. When that atom decays, it spits out particles at an angle that our standard physics just can't explain. Their conclusion? This might be the signature of a brand new particle, one they've nicknamed X17. And this could be a massive deal. As physicist Jonathan Fang points out, this X-17 particle could be a particle which connects our visible world with the dark matter. Wow! I mean, that's the potential bridge right there.
Okay, so let's put all these pieces together. If there's dark plasma and there's a fifth force to connect it to us, what does that actually mean for our bodies? The big idea in this hypothesis is that a dark plasma skin, or a sheath, is attracted to and wraps around our body's own bioelectric field. It would be this dynamic, invisible structure that mirrors the electrical blueprint that scientists like Levin are already able to detect.
And if it exists, what would it even do? Well, according to the theory, it could act as a more detailed template for growth and for regeneration. It could provide extra computational power for complex biological processes. It could store memories in its field. And it could even enable what are called dark sensory modalities, like the abilities some sensitives report to perceive things our ordinary eyes just can't see.
So the crucial point in all of this is that the hypothesis suggests that the electrical shadow of the tadpole is just the part of the system we can currently measure. It might be the ordinary matter footprint of a much more complex dual system that includes an invisible dark plasma component that we just can't detect yet. And that leaves us with a final massive thought to ponder. If this theory holds any truth, if we do have a second invisible body made of dark plasma coexisting with our physical one, what new potentials for consciousness, for memory, and for life itself are just sitting there, waiting to be discovered?